Now, it's been a dark 2 years for America. A recession, record high gas prices, and inflation, and an invasion at our southern border, a logistics crisis, and I could go on and on. But here's the good news. The great American comeback is on. House conservatives have been given the great responsibility to govern, and we're going to make y'all proud. We're going to make America proud. We are going to weed out the deep state, and that includes the sorry Department of Injustice. We are going to take our country back. We will not relent. We will not retreat. We are moving forward from a place of victory, and we are going to put America first. God bless you.
But do you know who else I want to thank? I want to thank Elon Musk. Yeah. And I don't just want to thank Elon for buying Twitter, and I just want to thank him for letting the conservatives come back to Twitter and getting rid of the shadow banning and exposing all of that corruption. I specifically want to thank Elon Musk for banning all those liberals last week. It's great. It's great. I loved it. I want to see a lot more of it. I do, and I know we're not supposed to say that. I know, you know what we're supposed to say. The liberals and the squishes, they want us to say that what Elon did was a terrible attack on free speech. Oh, it was awful. They want us to say, we may not agree with how the liberals dox us, but we will defend to the death their right to do it. That's what they want. Certain things really can be settled. They must be settled if our society is going to do anything at all. We do not need to tolerate drag queen story hour. We don't. We do not need to tolerate leftists bullying and intimidating and doxing us. We do not need to tolerate the lies and the fraud constantly being peddled by the liberal establishment. We do not need to tolerate it, and we should not tolerate it. We should not. There is nothing hypocritical about encouraging good things and discouraging bad things. That is called common sense. That is called protecting our community. That is called politics, and it is long past time that conservatives started doing that again. Thank you very much.
There's another layer to this that I wanted to bring up because, you know, if you guys don't believe in God, you have to understand the very powerful people in charge, they believe in something. There's a reason they go to the Bohemian Grove. There's a reason they hang out with Marina Abramovich and do spirit cooking. There's a reason they hang out with all these devil worshippers, Satanists, and they do horrible things on private islands that we can't even speak about on this show. So there is a spiritual war happening right now, whether you can deny it or not. But it's happening and it's here, and religion is a part of that war.
Let's talk about young people, because what you're all basically saying is main character syndrome, which I think we're seeing a lot of in millennials and some Gen Z, where people think nothing outside of me matters. I also think, to a certain degree, we're seeing this in every generation, and the way I see it manifest is when police officers go to, say there's an all-ages drag event in Texas where they're explicitly engaging in, you know, things inappropriate for kids. And I'm talking about what we just saw in San Antonio with simulated sodomy and things like that. There should be no question that the police would go in there and say, hey, you can't do this, but they're not willing to do it. And I think because even for these police officers, many who are probably in their 30s or a little older are like, I'm not getting involved, they're going to get mad at me, I'm going to get yelled at. So it's not just main character syndrome. It's also, I'm not going to risk myself for whatever this is. And if we don't have a cohesive culture where people are willing to stand up for each other, then it just falls apart, or maybe it already did.
I think this is that unconventional warfare. This is what they do in unconventional warfare. They make these provocations. Drag queens are a provocation. It's been an escalating provocation. First, they're just dressing up in kind of somewhat, careful dress with their clown makeup, groomer clowns or whatever, reading stories. Next thing you know, Tim and I were talking about this yesterday. Next thing you know, they're dancing, they're grinding, they're sexual dancing, they're twerking. The next thing you know, they're doing simulated sex acts in front of children. And they're at every step of the way, this is what Tim was saying to me yesterday, so this is Tim's credit, gets the credit for this, is every step of the way they're saying, no, it's just this. No, it's just this. Escalate, escalate, escalate. This is an unconventional warfare tactic to provoke. The goal, you guys remember George Floyd. The goal is to have drag Floyd. And I'm serious. This is deadly serious.
Dave Chappelle speaks about this all the time, especially when it comes to dressing actors in drag. But it even goes bigger because Balenciaga was not an accident. What was happening there was a deliberate escalation of the culture war of them bragging how far they could take it.
Teaching children about reproduction when you think it's appropriate for them is very different from teaching them how to lube something for kink. That is something totally different, and that's what we're seeing with these all-ages drag shows.
I mean, that's why I made those podcasts back in October, November last year. I called them groomer schools. And it's just been, I, of course, got blasted off of Twitter for this. Back on Twitter. Thanks, Elon. Don't cuck this up now. My gosh. So here I am, and I think somebody backstage owes me money because I said that. But anyway, what I did was I've just been proved right again and again and again. Okay, groomer. And the goal is this, again, this escalating, I said unconventional warfare. This is so important. I talked to Tim earlier this year. The first time I went on the show this year with Tim, I was like, listen, political warfare is the most important concept you've never heard of. Unconventional warfare, political warfare, this mid-level violence provocation is so critical to understand because they're giving you a choice. They put a drag queen, oh, it's just a story, oh, it's just dancing. And what you're going to do is you're either going to give in, at which point they're going to enter into their generative themes educational method into living queerly, strategic defiance. This is straight out of their literature that they say is the real goal of drag queen story hour. We're going to leave a trail of glitter that will never come out of the carpets, the last sentence in that paper, talking about your kids' brains. And then either you give into it and they get to do that, or you go too hard and you mess up and they make a video of you looking bad, and then they start trying to smear you as an anti-groomer or as rising anti-LGBT hate. This is the thought-terminating cliche, so people don't think about it. Oh, that's bad. Don't think. Don't ask questions. Just stop and say the person who did that's bad. And the goal is to get you to give in so they get their way or overreact, and that's where I say drag Floyd. It's so important to understand that they want a drag queen to get attacked. And they want to make a huge amount of hay of it, and they want to create Summer 2020 again off of a drag queen or a trans person or something like this. Meanwhile, what are they peppering the environment with? This is called, in unconventional warfare, operational preparation of the environment. It used to be operational preparation of the battlefield. That's why the intelligence communities being involved in this is so critical. They know this stuff. And what are they doing? Oh, stochastic terrorism. Stochastic terrorism. Stochastic terrorism. Everybody who talks about this is a stochastic terrorist. It's only a matter of time till there's violence. And what do all the articles do? They wrap it up. They're like, oh, James Lindsay, Tim Pool, Jack Posobiec, all these people, they're saying groomer. Marjorie Taylor Greene saying groomer. Lauren Boebert, groomer. These people are going to cause violence. They're going to have their stochastic terrorism. And then what are they going to do? Oh, and Elon Musk let them all back on Twitter. So then they're going to get control back of the media so they can keep control of the dialogue and of the narrative. Do you see that there is a strategy? There is a plan. They have a plan. This can be beaten just by calling it out ahead of time so they look like jerks when they do it.
They're going to try to get control.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, of course. And they may or may not get it. But if you don't know that this is happening to you, you're standing in what they might call the wizard circle with a spell cast on you.
How can you say they're trying to get control? They removed Trump from office.
No,
by the way, on his watch.
With Twitter specifically.